writing poetry for ever since I was a kid as a way to escape from the world, right? And like Steph, it was interesting. I also did a year of poetry. In fact, about 2 years ago, I did a hashtag on my Instagram, and on my Instagram, I had 365 days of poetry, so every single day. And it was a cool journey because there were some days I completely missed it, and I had to make up for it a couple days later. And so in itself, it was poetry has been a an opportunity for me to go within so I can show up without, so to speak. Again, my name is Wei, and I am really excited. This is my first time doing any kind of poetry reading, so unlike Steph, I'm a little bit of a noob in this regard. I just write and hide behind my poetry, and that's about it. And it's kind of a fun thing to do. So um, that's it. And I will now pass the mic to Teresa, who has a similar last name to me. Toss.
Well, thank you, Wei. Hi, my name is Teresa. I'm a friend of Deepa's, so thank you so much for inviting me. So I've been writing prose for probably a good 10 to 15 years, and this being 2020 and all, I decided to get out of my comfort zone and try poetry, which is very different. It's a very different avenue of expression. So I started taking creative writing classes focused on poetry this semester, which, by the way, is amazing. And so I'm a newbie to this whole world of writing poetry. So I hope I can share something. Unlike Steph and Wei, I haven't been writing that long. So let me pass, I guess, the mic to Deepa.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. My name is Deepa Ramamurthy, and I have been working with Aditi for a few years off and on, and I know both Aditi and Sweta through some mutual friends. We've worked together and learned a lot from them. I am not a poet at all, so unlike other people who are writers here, I am not. I write in my journal. So I just thought it would be fun to make something pretend like it kind of rhymes and put my feelings down on paper. So that's really what this is. I don't know if you can call it a poem per se, but I thought it would be nice to share in a group and also listen to others and learn from you guys. So thank you for letting me be a part of this. And I'm going to pass the mic to Sweta.
Hi guys, can you hear me? I have to put the headphones in. Hopefully it's not that muffled. So hi Deepa, it's nice to see some new faces here. So I am technically not a newbie, but I used to write when I was younger, right? When I was in like high school. So in that sense, I'm like a born again newbie to this whole work. I think writing is so powerful because you really get to express what you're feeling. And it's such a personal and powerful way of expressing it. And there's so many different ways of doing it. So I'm actually super excited to share two short writings that I've done. And it's to kind of encourage me to get back into doing something that I have lost habit with. So it's really exciting to see different faces, and that's part of this quarantine that I think is forcing people to do, find those new connections. I know it has its drawbacks, but I do think something like this is really, really helpful and inspiring. So thank you, Aditi, for setting it up, and I'm so glad everybody joined in here. And I'm excited to hear what you guys have come up with, because I think it'll be interesting to see what everybody comes up with. So, yeah, that's it. And I have to pass the mic. Clearly, I'm like, that's it. Did I think everyone's gone, right? Do I pass it back to Aditi? Okay. Okay, the mic is passed back to Aditi. I don't have a cool thing to do that, which Steph did, but she can do it for all of us.
Yeah, so actually, I think it stopped going live. So I'm just going to try to hit live again. And then I will, right? Do you guys see it live? Because it looks like it's not live anymore. It says was live.
Yeah, it looks like it stopped.
Okay, so we're going to try it one more time. But this is fun. I'm enjoying it. Okay, cool. Let's try this again. We'll learn how to make it work better each time. All right, Soul Jam. All right, I pressed go live and it is circling. So we will be live in just a second. All right, looks like we are live again, my friends. Okay, cool. So my name is Aditi and I have started this Soul Jam so we can all share our poetry. So how I got into poetry is I actually heard Sam Smith, if you guys know that singer, speak on stage when he won like all those awards, and he's like, you know, I wrote this to help me heal from my broken heart, and I ended up winning all these awards and making all this money from, you know, he just helped me channel my pain. And at that point I was going through a really, really painful breakup myself, and I felt like my friends were tired of hearing about it. Like I just didn't have an outlet to like still be in pain, and I still had so much pain and I didn't know what to do with it. And I decided to start writing. I was like, well, if Sam Smith is doing it, maybe it'll work for me too. So I started just writing kind of a story, and it turns into kind of like a story poem. And that's kind of where my writing really started about 3 years ago. And it's always been a very private process. I haven't really shared it publicly. So this is the first time where I'm really starting to kind of put it out there. And I think someone had wrote this when we were signing up for this, is it feels really vulnerable to share, and it does. And I agree with that, because you know, you're sharing like deep parts of yourself or your deep thoughts and maybe things you've never even shared before to anyone. So it is a very vulnerable process even, and I agree with that. It's very, very vulnerable for me too. So the poem what inspires my poetry is honestly heartbreak and pain, and like just emotional pain and just like disappointment, things not working out. I feel like when I'm angry and mad and sad, it's like writing really helps me process it and release it and make sense of it. And then over time, the words even sound kind of wise. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should do something with this. So the poem that I wrote for today was something that was inspired by just the idea of resilience. These last few years have been the hardest years of my life, but I've grown so much in so many deep ways. And this is about not giving up. So I am going to share the poem with you guys now. Okay, so it's called She Who Dares to Fight. She who fights enters a battleground, eye to eye with her darkness, face to face with her demons, licking her bleeding wounds. She pulls herself a little closer. She holds herself a little tighter, braving through the rain, braving through the muddy trails, the foggy roads. And just when she thinks she can't fight anymore, a light flickers inside, and she finds the pieces she's been looking for all along, shattered all over the floor. And one by one, she puts herself together again, but in a new way, in a brave way, in a bold way. She who dares to fight finds herself. She who dares to fight comes home to herself. Will you dare to fight? Your home is calling. Your soul is calling. And that's it. Thank you, guys. All right, and I'm going to pass the mic to Teresa.
Well, thank you. That was a very lovely poem. So my writings are kind of reflections of daily life. And I guess I tend to use a lot of jest or jokes in my poetry. So they tend to be more lighthearted. So the poem I'm going to read is called The Auntie. My little prey flits about. Oh, and it's also a persona poem. So it's reflecting what the auntie is thinking. So the auntie, my little prey flits about, belly laughs and sun-scorched skin, serpent hair oozing out, naive to her place among her kin. I must put her in her place. I ready the blade in my mouth upon the calluses of my heart. O dark daughter of the South, no fragile beauty did she take part. She sees nothing wrong with herself. Pulling her to the side, she twists and turns, a squirming rat. I begin to chide. Darling, you've gotten dark and fat. The storm brews in her eyes. Have you looked in a mirror, Auntie? I gasp at her loathing and audacity. I guess not, or else you wouldn't be so haughty. I am stunned by her veracity, or is it immodesty? Her parents didn't raise her well. And that's it. And I guess I'll pass it on to Wei.
I always go second. I almost feel like we should unmute and clap because I suspect that in a real live poetry jam that after poems are done, people are giving each other's kudos and giving insight. There's this quiet golf clap that's happening.
I like that. I'm down to do that. We will unmute those.
So yeah, I guess I didn't get a chance to talk about what inspires me in the realm of poetry. Like I said, when I was very young, and for years I stopped writing just because I love writing poetry. I remember going home and finding this really old book from grade school with just pages and pages of poems just written in there and some of them were reflective of what I was going through, internally that nobody knows about, and I think a lot of my writing stems from me, and it stems from like life experiences, what I'm observing in that moment, what comes out of my meditations. It just depends on the circumstance. When I was in college, that angsty time, I was writing, like Aditi, I was writing about heartbreak. I was writing about, my relationship issues and then, academic issues. Yeah, I mean, you name it, I was writing something about it. And then some of it turned into songs that I wrote and so on and so forth. I was a good student today. I was asked to write something or bring a shorter version and then a longer version. And so I guess I'll start with the shorter one and then I'll go to the longer one later. So some of my poems, I write haikus sometimes, a lot of times actually. And then the haikus are short and really, really short. This is not a haiku. This particular one I wrote both of these poems today, actually, to honor this little event, and so it reflects a little bit about where I'm at, where all my students and clients are at, and just a reflective of the time. This particular one is called "Woken," and it goes a little like this: He climbs into the seat with no place to go, no jet plane that is waiting, everything just slow, bubbling with irritation as he sees the world pass by, getting up to leave only to realize he's arrived. And that's it. And with that, I will pass. Oh, that sounds better.
Yay.
I will pass the microphone over to Steph. Catch.
Oh, got it. Thank you, Wei. All right, so my poems are pretty playful. I love alliterations and rhyming style. I definitely am a fan of Dr. Seuss. So this is actually, I wrote this also today. It's called An Ode to Poetry because this was a poetry jam. So here's my colorful book, and I'm gonna reference a ritual that I do when I did the 1 year of poems. I would drop my notebook. So I'm not gonna drop the notebook because I'll lose the spot. So I have an extra notebook to exemplify that. So here we go. An Ode to Poetry by Steph with an F. Poetry helps me to say what I want. I don't need a fancy computer or an elaborate font. I open up a blank page and I pull out a pen. And before I know it, I've filled my page until the end. The rhyming structure puts my mind at ease. Each line is like a riddle and sometimes a tease. How can I find a word to rhyme with that? And eventually I find the word and I give my back a pat. Fitting the words together to cover the page helps me to deal with feelings of frustration and even rage. Watch out. When the poem is done, I love to read it and celebrate. I created my own ritual, wink, wink, in which my notebook I do elevate. Then I drop my notebook right down to the floor. I drop it like a mic and feel a sense of fulfillment, and I laugh a little more. Poetry can be playful and colorful too. It all depends on the day and the words that want to come through. So thanks for taking the time to come and hear some poetry today. I invite you all to give it a try and share some of your own wordplay. Farewell for now. I've had a poetic ball. Take care, people. I truly do. Thank you all. And now I'll drop the hat and the poem just like that. The end. Namaste.
So cute.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
the
you.
performance that you did. That was like awesome.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
Very cool. I like it.
I forgot to pass the mic that I really love. You guys know I love this thing. Deepa.
Okay, I imaginarily caught it. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, there's like a lot of family member noise in the background, so I apologize for any of the background noise. Similar to Aditi, most of the little writing that I have done is mostly like from past emotional experiences. So I've been writing this for the past couple of days since Aditi told me about the poetry. So kind of long story long, I had a really bad breakup about a year and a half ago, I guess. And I had written, an 8-page letter to this person with the intent of wanting to send this of my feelings, and I did not. And I later found out that person is engaged to be married. And we had a really amazing fire ceremony where we burnt that letter. It was very cathartic. And this poem is somewhat of those feelings, but I made it rhyme. So thank you. You didn't just break my heart, you broke my spirit. You left me alone in the world where I forgot how to live in it. You stole the little self-esteem or confidence I used to have inside. I was left with an empty shell to which I wanted to retreat and hide. You made me question my faith. What was the purpose of this? God, why? You made me angry at my grandfather and question him, looking up to the sky. You got upset or kept aloof when I showed any emotion. You selfishly took my time and effort, knowing you did not feel the same devotion. Does my person really exist if it wasn't meant to be you? Is love meant for me at all? Then what's left in this life to do? As I dream of my ideal relationship, I hope for reciprocation, a person who can compromise and understand through their own maturation. Someone to show me the same effort I put? That sounds impossible. Someone to be patient, loyal, and provide a love that's unstoppable? You couldn't provide those things. You only showed uncertainty. Sorry. Yet you moved on so quickly to another woman that was just like me. She isn't me, no, but I hope you're happy. I know it won't feel the same. You missed out on an amazing love. I hope you regret rejecting my name. I wasted too much time crying, starving, losing sleep. The happiness I felt with you was much less than the times you made me weep. In time, you will be just a bad memory that I will seldom mention. but I will learn to love and respect myself more instead of begging for your attention. Who knows what's out there on the horizon? All I can do is wait and see, as we all wait and time passes to find out what's meant to be. Sorry about my dog.
Wait, is that part of the poem?
It sounded like that was like a performance artist suggested. Oh, we have the dog in the background. Just when you got like really emotional dog, is like, I am pitching in. I'm here for you. So that was awesome.
Oh yes, he's definitely
Yeah.
tear cat. Thank you. So Swetha, I'll pass the mic to you.
Perfect. So I had written this, I would say probably about 2 years ago. Like I said, I stopped writing poetry, but like when I write, it kind of comes as free form words, but it sort of, works for me. So this was after a breakup. So I wouldn't say it's pertinent to me today, but I like my writing, so it's pertinent for that. Okay. So here it goes. Today I ask myself, when do I let go? Never was taught to love myself, learn to love everyone else. I kept walking away, so far away from myself. You never stopped me. I asked myself, did you just stop giving a shit about everything, including you and me? You played a great game. You taught the script of love. I was mesmerized. I realized you let me go. I stand at crossroads, not knowing where I should look or go. So that's my poem. But I wanted to say the shorter one, which is now, and that's like super short. I didn't know love would challenge me. I thought that love was just love. I realized this is more than I could handle. But your love has transformed me in a way that I didn't know. I love you with all my heart and soul. You're my anchor and the one who holds me. I love you beyond anything I've experienced. And that is for my current relationship. So.
Beautiful.
Lots of broken hearts in here.
So many broken hearts.
Absolutely, it brings out the best. And then did I have to pass the panel thing? Did I have to pass the panel? Did I have to pass the mic to anyone? Steph was doing the passing, but
Does anyone have any other extra poems that they want to share or want to?
I do. I wrote another one.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. I wrote another one. To this one, I spent a little bit more time, and it's a little bit reflective of what I go through almost every other day, maybe even once a week at least. And so it's this one's called A Departure Through Glass. Okay. And I literally went through this morning, so it's very current. Okay, so let's see. I peered into the looking glass, a simple mirror in my house, only to catch a gaping hole as I scooped the water to douse. What I was afraid to see when my eyes appeared again, but I could not avert my gaze, as the darkness caught me, and then the world turned into a haze. The haze, I thought, was the end of days, the days of my laughter, the days of my craze, of all the things I could have done instead of living just for fun. And as the haze intensified, it left me in a daze, thinking still that this was it, that my life was now this a paisley decor of mismatched tapestries, clumsily woven to just get by. And yet there was a part of me thinking that this could be a lie. Could it really be that it was all for naught, that everything I did could have just been easily bought by buying into what they thought that I could grow to be? And maybe if I did that, then maybe now I could see the error of my ways, my errant schools of thought, to just fit in and thus begin another journey as I sought. The reason for my departure from this juxtaposition in time, as I continue to grip the counter, seeking for what's mine. my own unique departure from the gate of what's meant to be, but not to a destination they chose, but a destination just for me. And by owning more and more of my own unique design, through the haze and through the days, I started to see the sign. The reason for my musings so early in the morn was to glimpse into my soul to see if it was torn from what I committed to do, oh, so long ago, to walk my path and walk my choice and take it blow by blow, from all the challenges that come my way, to test my conviction and willingness to stay inside myself, inside this world, and that is how I'll play. And just as quickly as I touched my soul, the haze and the days started to roll away from the light, away from my life, and anything else that was thought to be a blight. In a world that treasures the desire to pleasure at the expense of self, which I now will shelf. And that moment now snaps me back through the glass, back into my room of a stark reality, a reality that has me see that I must continue to be simply and perfectly me. That's it.
Yay!
That's awesome.
Yay!
Thank you.
Really good.
Good. Wow, I'm so blown away by everyone.
Yeah.
Her too. She's like, yeah. I got the infant approval, toddler's approval.
Yep.
Anyone else have another one they want to share? I know, Stephanie, you have probably a bunch because you're like the poet.
I have a few short ones.
Go for it.
Okay. This one's really short. It's called Call Somebody. Call somebody. Yes, you can. Call somebody. Phone a friend. Call somebody. Share what's up. Call somebody, especially if you don't have a pup. Call somebody. There's no wrong way. Call somebody, even if it's messy and you might not know what to say. Call somebody because you might just make their day. Phone drop.
I think I'm gonna pick up, make a phone call right now.
Yeah, good, it worked.
That's so good. I love it.
You have a very Dr. Seuss style, but it's really cute.
Yeah, it's very
Super
it's adorable.
Thank you. I
Yeah, I could see you doing like improv. Like you'd be so good at improv because you're just like on the spot. So that's pretty good. It's fun to see. That's good.
Thank you. I actually did a one-woman show for my birthday, a whole 1 hour improv show with props. They filled the stage. It was really fun.
That's so creative. I love it. Especially during these times, I think a lot of people need that creativity. So that's awesome to hear. Yeah, I like it. It's entertaining.
Well, thank you for saying that. I've been in a little bit of hibernation mode, so this is inspiring me to get back out and share my stuff. Could I read one more?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually perfect for this. It's called Give Your Gifts, and that's what it's time for. So here we go. Give your gifts, share your stuff. Let go of those feelings and thoughts that tell you that you are not enough. What's one thing you can do every day? A way you can escape, let go, and just play. For me, it's a poem, just letting the words flow. Being silly and creative is one way that I know. So what's one gift you can give to yourself, even if you resist it or might have previously even been mean to yourself? The past is the past. The new day is here. You can choose differently in each moment and new miracles will appear. So give your gifts, be uniquely you. I love you all lots and I wish that all of your dreams do come true.
Yay.
Thank you.
Nice.
I feel like this for like a story time, like a library event. Like here in Houston, they do a lot of story time events and people dress up and stuff. And like I feel like people of all ages would really appreciate that. If that's
Thank you.
I mean,
All right. Received. Message received.
Super cool.
Thank
So
you.
on that same note of sharing your gifts, I shared this post the other day, so I thought I'll read some of it. It's called Express Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself.
Oh.
Coming back to yourself after leaving a battleground, there's lots of battlegrounds in mine, huh? With your inner demons left behind, leaving you empty, not knowing who you are or where you came from, ruffled hair, clothes falling off, looking in the mirror, confused at who you see. Self-expression is the cure. Self-discovery is the cure. There is no right, there is no wrong. There is simply an expression of the heart, an expression of the soul, an expression of the mind. How does it long to come out? Writing, speaking, dancing, singing, talking. You don't have to be a professional to express yourself. This is for you, an outlet, an opening, a guiding light. Turn your pain into discovery.
Mm,
Amen.
yeah.
There was one line that you said, I was like, oh, that's really good. Self-discovery something. What is it? And it really rhymes with.
Sure. What I realized
Yeah,
through all these dark times, it was like,
yeah,
you want to run away from it, but it's actually going deeper is
yeah,
where the healing, where the light actually emerges. But nobody wants to go there, right?
yeah.
Because it's dark, it's all the things. So I feel like that piece was about, you know, how I kind of started to crawl out of my dark hole was through discovery. Because it's like we look for these external things to make us feel better, people,
Yeah.
places, things, situations, anything. And it's just
Yeah.
at some point, none of it works. Food doesn't work, alcohol doesn't work, partying doesn't work, talking to your friends doesn't work. So self-discovery.
Yeah. I was actually going to say, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but if we want to share our poems and then we can like put hashtag poetry jam, online poetry jam, and then each person does it and we can like comment or like or share. I don't know how you guys feel about that, like whatever we shared, because I heard it, but I would like to like read them again. So,
Yeah.
like instead of creating a Facebook group and stuff, I don't know if Aditi, you want to
Maybe
do all
on
that.
the Facebook event, if you guys want to post it, you are more than welcome to post it there.
Okay.
But yeah, this
Okay.
was really fun. Do you guys have any other last thoughts? I totally want to do this weekly. So if you guys want to do this again next Friday, you're all invited to be a part of this again and write new poems, share new things. Like we can work on our sharing and practicing.
It's like a poetry club.
Yeah,
Thank
and I would also, I would think it would be cool to actually kind of go through the process of a poem. Like one person can say, I want to share, like, you know, how people could heartbreak, but what was really going on? Like, how did you come to those words? Like, kind of understanding more, and then we can give our feedback about how it affected me, because it could be completely different for me, but it'll be interesting to see why the person wrote that, right? Like, what was going on for them. I just think that's a really fascinating process, the creative process. So I would be down for that if that's something you guys are interested in.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody live who was watching. Thank you everybody who came here. We hope you guys enjoyed this, and we hope that you come here and join us again next week. Okay, I'm not streaming anymore, so we can talk amongst ourselves.
Thank you so much, Aditi.
Awesome. How did you
Yeah.
guys feel? How did it go?
Yeah, thank you.
Is yeah,
This was
easier
fun.
than expected.
Easier than expected, you said?
Yeah, yeah.
My question is, what was going on with Facebook?